Yo guys, today we're going to be doing a bike maintenance video. We're going to be cleaning my bike down, re-greasing it and then building it back up, and then at the end we're going to do a bike check. So I'm going to start off with time lapse of me taking my bike apart until it's all in pieces, then after that we're going to clean it up and then go from there. But yeah, I'll see you in a minute.
The dollar that I got in bed, I probably went and pissed it away. I ain't fucking okay, I ain't liking it, babe. I don't even wanna talk, I'm just smoking my haze. I've been stuck in my ways, I've been stuck here for days. I've been staring at the clock as the radio plays. I'm enslaved. Yeah, rolling another.
Okay, so for the next bit, you want to be able to get yourself like your frame, and then I've got like loads of shit all over mine and everything like that. So you want to get yourself some wipes. These ones like get dirt, grease and all that shit off, and then you will just wipe down all your frame, get all that nice and clean again. Your bars, your forks, and you get all that. Just wipe it all clean and down, and then once I've done that, I'll be back with you to grease up everything and put it all back together.
I'm stuck in my seat for the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole damn week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million motherfuckers that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family. From a girl, every fan I meet myself. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts, like jumping off of that rooftop. Whole life never when I do nothing to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Full of stage, trying to find my pain. There's something coming out of that rain. My day really not game. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage.
So the last bit is now to grease everything up. Make sure you've wiped all down your bearings, and anywhere there was grease, take off the old grease, get ready, put new grease on. So clear off your bearings, your bottom bracket, just all the things that need grease really, and just take them down. So first, take the tyre wheels off. So I've greased the bottom and top cup already. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of grease around the bottom of the forks, just a little bit around the bottom where the bottom bearing will sit. Just put a little bit around there. This will just all help keeping your bike running good. Try and make sure you put enough grease on, not too much, because eventually when you come to change it again, it will be absolutely nasty if you put too much on. And if you don't put enough, that's when everything starts seizing and starts sounding and feeling horrible on your bike. So just put your bottom bearing on your fork like this and then just push it through. And then you'll have to get the top bearing, slide that on, and then just push that in a little bit, and then that sits nice on top there. You need to go get your other parts of your headset. You should have a little bit that sits like this. That goes on top of the bearing and down and pinches everything nice and tight. Make sure you don't leave anything out. If the space is in there, put the spaces back. If there's not, don't put anything else in. Because if you do, and then when your fork goes in and your stem goes on top, if there's a gap, that's how your stem will snap. I've had it before. So now you just get your top cap after you put the little pincher bit in. Put your top cap down. That'll fit nice and snug on top. And I have these two little thin spaces that go on top of here. So that's your fork and your headset all put in place, nice and all greased up, brand new. So just wipe off any excess. You can get your little little tissues things, wet wipe kind of things, wipe everything down, make sure everything stays nice and clean. So after that, you get your stem. You can take your stem off your bars if you really want to, but I just kept mine on for the ease. So now you just get a little bit more grease. I like getting a little bit more grease, and then just make sure putting it around the top of your fork, just so everything slides down nice and tight, smooth. There's no rub, and even if there's a little bit of grease here, it should help all of it out. So after that, just put your forks and your stem together. Yeah, just put your fork and your stem back on your forks, and it will slide down nice and tight from there. Make sure that's all nice and tight. Okay, so when you've done that, then it's time to get your stem bolt. You might have one that's just a bolt where you get a little top cap, but this is a different one. Just get a little bit of this, put some grease around the top of this, all the way around, screw that bad boy back in. Yeah, there's no need to take your bar away from your bars off your stem, unless you are wanting to completely clean everything. But if there's no actual point to doing this, taking your whole bars apart, because it is really annoying getting your bars back aligned. I'm not going to do this all the way. I'm just going to put it into there, and then we'll get on to the back end of the bike. So we're going to start off with the bottom bracket. Actually, we'll start off with the seat. Well, we'll put the seat back on now. Put a little bit of grease on your actual seat post. Not everyone does this. You don't have to do it. It's just personal preference. Don't put too much on. I put a little bit too much on then. Slide it down. Bob's your uncle. Dunsies. Then just have to tighten that the bolt up here. To go underneath the seat. Tighten the bolt up. I'm not going to tighten everything perfectly tight. I'm just going to do it finger tight, and then afterwards, when I'm not on camera, I'll go over and check it all over. So once I've done that, you've got the seat on. Turn it upside down. Now I'll start working on the crank arms and all that. So again, just wipe down any little bits that you see that you might not have got to. Kind of clear the bearings off a little bit, and then I get my spindle arm, clear that off a bit. I haven't cleaned this off properly. Yeah, so we'll clear this off now. Get your axle, grease it up before you put it back in. Put a little bit of grease on here, the middle bit here. Just kind of work it all the way around. So you've got a nice even layer in the middle there. Get that. Push it through. And that's that. Okay. You'll have your little bottom bracket kind of spacers things here. Caps. Just clear them off a little bit and slide them on. My bike is left-hand drive. So make sure you put these on the right way. So else it's just more work when you come back to it. So these will go on this side, and then you'll have bits, should have like a little cap bit like this, that goes on the side that your drive is. That goes on the side that your bike drive is. So I'll put these on the wrong way already. So it goes on like that. Does it? No! I always fucking mess this part up. It goes on like that. No, it doesn't. It goes on like that. See? Shit. Okay. After you've done that, you want to grease up your the actual axles that you've got. Just grease them up a little bit. Put a little bit of grease on either side. Not too much, just enough so it doesn't make horrible noises. And get that in there. Make sure this washer here has got quite a bit, not a lot, but just a little bit of grease so no creaking happens. And if your bike is creaking, it's making a rank noise when you're pedaling, it is to do with this. Just take it apart, grease it back up, take the old grease off, put new grease on, and you should be all fine with that. So once you've got that rocking and rolling, you want to get your sprocket side and put it on your drive side first. I like putting it on my drive side on before. The other side, I don't know why, personal preference I guess. And then you can push that kind of into place there. Then you get your other side, and then you just put that on the back. Make sure you get this all lined up nice, and then just crunch it down. Take any excess grease off, and then, yeah. Okay, then you just get your bolts. I haven't got the pinch bolts on mine, on my crank arms. There's no pinch bolts, it's just the main bolt here, like this. Put a little bit of grease on it again. Put that there. Do the same with the other side. Put that bit there. And then just tighten it all up a little bit. Just tighten it up. Like I said, I ain't going to do all the bolts tight. Just going to do them finger tight really. Okay, make sure that's all nice and spinning and not smacking anything. Okay, so you want to get your chain nice and cleaned up again, untangled, because it might have tangled up. It's always a bitch. Okay, I normally put mine like that. Get your tyre, get your drive side, put it around here. Go on the little driver at the back, lift your bike up, place it back on the axles, place your frame drop out on the axles and just push that forward a little bit, and then just put the chain back on your wheel, so you got it all hooked back up again. And then get your front tyre, and then put this on here. And then there you go. Okay, so now it's time to get everything tight and properly put everything together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my actual wheels first. So I'm going to do the back one first, just because it's in the view of camera. I'm going to tighten it up. I normally start from the dry side first, and then go to the other side. And then got a bit of slack in it. All nice so far. Okay, now I'll go to the front. You can't really see the front, but I'll quickly do that up now. Okay, so that's both the tyres tight. So now I'll come back with the camera in a different position to do the top cap and all the other bits on the bike and tighten them up properly. So yeah, now I'm going to tighten up all the headset. You don't want to sit on your actual bike when you're doing the headset and doing the top bolt, because it can fuck it up a bit. So you want to get the compression first and then tighten the side bolts. You want to just get all the compression tight, and then okay, that's that tight. And then you tighten up the side bolts. Make sure you get make sure you kind of get it dead on straight. Okay, and then tighten up your side bolts. Make sure one side doesn't pinch more than the other, because then that's another way that you can snap your stem or stem bolts if you don't tighten it all properly. Same with the top bit. If you tighten this unequally, you can snap bolts, and that's just effort. So yeah, I've almost tightened this up. Get this nice and tight. Okay, that's nice and tight. So the front end is complete, and now we'll just go down. Your sprocket, just make sure your sprocket is tight to your crank arm. Make sure that's all tight and nice there. That does tend to come undone quite a bit, so just make sure that's nice and tight. And then yeah, then after that, just check your pedals are nice and tight. I've already checked mine, did them earlier. Yeah, your crank arms, make sure they're nice and tight. And then there you go.